leave the White House councils if Trump quits the Paris climate deal. Now, he's in a couple of White House councils on economic issues, and he threatens to leave. Please go. Please go. Will he pull out of the crony capitalist subsidies that he has? That's the true question. And about a year ago, we covered this at the time, the fact that Elon Musk is the crony capitalist king. From May 5th last year, EricPetersAutos.com, and he points out the problem with Tesla cars is that they haven't ever made any money. They're heavily subsidized. The manufacturer is heavily subsidized. The sale is heavily subsidized by the taxpayer rather than the buyer. And he points out that Tesla got $1.3 billion in crony capitalist incentives from the state of Nevada to build his battery factory there. He's going to be exempt from paying any property taxes for the next 20 years, an inducement of another $195 million in transfer tax credits, which he can sell for cash. He also got a $15 million from the state of California. But here's the issue, folks. He makes money not by selling cars, but by selling carbon credits. If you buy a real car or anything that has an internal combustion engine in it, you will pay more for that car, and he will get subsidized by that, as well as his buyers getting subsidized when they buy that car. And as Eric Peters points out, Tesla could not build a single car without the government's help. Take away the help and the annual cost would be prohibited. Virtually no one, except perhaps a few fellow billionaires like Elon Musk, would be able to afford one of his cars. And yet the typical Tesla buyer has an income of over $250,000. This is the essence of what this climate treaty is. It's why we need to get out of it. These people and the poor and the middle class are subsidizing this climate fantasy. At the same time, just as I pointed out last week, a farmer being hit with a $2.8 million fine because he plowed his own field. So you're not going to be allowed to work. The EPA and these environmentalists are going to shut this down. They're going to make you pay these carbon credits. And understand, they're like the indulgences of the Middle Ages. It's a sin tax. You have to pay them for the privilege of using energy. And that is the essence of not only our economy, but as I pointed out before, our quality of life, our life expectancy. Now, what do we have here with the Paris Climate Treaty? It's not a treaty, it's an agreement. It never got ratified. And that's very important because we go back to last August, and we saw Obama's White House defending the idea that he was going to ignore the Senate. They're going to call this a Paris climate deal, an agreement, even calling it a treaty, and yet he never went to the Senate for ratification.